Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Denmark once again, although this brewery is a little bit of a kind of hybrid Danish-American kind of operation these days. So for this one we're going to return to Evil Twin Brewing. It's a Monday night, I'm a bit tired, I need a good strong beer. Denmark of course is a very reliable source of such things. So as I say, we're going to return to Evil Twin Brewing and we're having a taste of the Molotov Cocktail. Now this is a beer I've heard quite a bit about, but I've just never got around to trying it. So it comes in at 12% ABV, it's an Imperial IPA, Double IPA, whatever you want to call it, and it has mango and orange added to it. So it should be pretty damn nice. Amongst the kind of peer-reviewed beer sites, Rate Beer, Untappd, and Beer Advocate of course as well, it has a 96 on Rate Beer. It was well into the 4 stars on Untappd when I checked it out, and it had a really good rating on Beer Advocate as well. So there does seem to be universal agreement that this is a pretty damn good beer. My experiences of Evil Twin Brewing in the past have been very positive too. So if you haven't tried some of their beers already, I highly recommend that you do. I've not tried that many IPAs from them though, I will point that out. It's mainly been stouts and things that I've tried from them so far, but they do some pretty good stuff, and if you haven't, I do recommend that you check these guys out. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews I've done from Evil Twin before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. It's only review number 4 or 5 that I've done from these guys. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go to the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there both for the Danish beers and for the American beers that I've reviewed for you. Those are both constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Evil Twin Brewing then. So these guys, as I mentioned to you, are a Danish gypsy brewery that were founded by Jeppe Bjergse, who is the twin brother of course of Mikael Bjergse, who started Mikkeller, one of the really famous Danish gypsy breweries. But this company was started back in 2010, and of course like Mikkeller, it was really inspired by the lack of craft beer that was available in Denmark at the time. So Jeppe began homebrewing in the same beer group that gave birth to the Mikkeller brewery, and then he went on to found his own beer shop in Copenhagen called Ølbutikken, which is actually still there, and I believe he is actually still the main owner of it if I'm not mistaken. It might have changed hands, but that shop is there and it still has a really good selection of beer. But in addition to this shop, he also started an import business, and this was used to import the American beers over into Denmark, and this is really one of the big things that fueled the craft beer boom, particularly in Copenhagen. But he later decided that it'd be fun to sell his own beers in the shop, and they also distributed the early Mikkeller stuff as well. So Jeppe agreed an import deal with 12% imports to sell the Evil Twin beers over to America, and he followed them over there with his wife in 2012, and he based the company head offices in Brooklyn in New York. And of course, like the case, as is the case with Mikkeller, they do, but I think they are looking to start up their own brewery at some point, but mainly these guys brew their beers in a variety of different host institutions. I know they brew quite a lot of them up in I think it's Stratford in Connecticut. Some of them have been brewed in Scotland before. I think Poplars Brewery in Sweden, they brew some of them as well, and there's various different things kind of brewed all over the place. I think they do brew some of their beers at Brouwerij de Molen in the Net. I think they did that for a period, and they also brew some in Belgium as well, but they're basically brewed all over the place. It's a gypsy brewery. They've got a good core range of beers. Pretty much anything I've had from these guys has been very, very solid. So like I said at the start of the video, if you haven't tried some of the Evil Twin beers, I highly recommend that you do. If you want to learn more about this company, of course, the website and things is in the description below. So anyway, let's move on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So there you can see the quite distinctive style of artwork that you'll get from Evil Twin Brewing. Just checking that you can see that on the camera. More often than not, when you get a bottle of an Evil Twin beer, you'll see this kind of symbol actually on the top of it. It says on the side here, despite the crudeness of it's tricky to make an effective Molotov cocktail. Despite the unruly nature of the rebel, it is very tricky to resist accepted conventions. Molotov Cocktail is a tour de force in hoppiness, it's spark for action, and by far one of the most anti-authoritative beers ever made by Evil Twin Brewing. Like I said, it comes in at 12%. Some of the websites I had a look at had this listed at 13%, so they might have changed the recipe very slightly, but this one was imported to the UK by James Clay, and that looks like it's a Huddersfield postage mark that's on this one. But yeah, it looks really nice. It will be a good beer, as I'm sure we can expect from Evil Twin. So without further ado, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So yeah, as you can see and as you'd expect, it's a nice kind of pale, clear, sort of golden colour. You can definitely smell some of the nice oranges coming out of this. A little bit of that mango as well. As I said, it's an Imperial IPA at 12% with some mango and oranges added to it. But pretty much looks exactly as you would expect. A nice pale golden orange. There's a kind of half finger of a frothy, quite bubbly white head on this one, but usually, as is the case with high alcohol beers, that head is just fading away. It's actually a kind of creamy colour, this one, but I don't think that is going to retain too long. As I'm moving the beer around, you can really pick up that nice mango note, and I'm getting some of the notes that you'd expect from Citra hop actually. Citra hop, of course, is one that really gives you these kind of big juicy mango notes, but you can smell with this one there's a nice slightly caramelly malt base to it. You can smell the nice oranges, a little bit of mango in there as well, some kind of floral aromatic notes. It does have a little bit of a kind of piney resin character as well. I'm guessing they've probably used Citra and Amarillo in it to kind of complement these fruit flavours that they've put in. Maybe there's a wee bit of kind of Chinook or something like that to give you the sort of spicy floral aromatic notes. But yeah, it does kind of smell like a straight up double IPA, just with those extra kind of juicy fruit notes. You can pick up a little bit of the grapefruit underneath. But it's that, the malt base in this one. This one to me has a good little bit of malt character. There's a bit of biscuity note, a little bit of that kind of sweet caramel, and you can see the head on this one just has kind of faded away to be really, really just thin, and a very kind of thin foamy layer more than anything. But yeah, a little bit of grassy note as well, some floral aromaticity, wee bit of pine resin, oranges, mangoes, a little bit of grapefruit, and then that nice kind of slightly caramelly biscuity malt base, maybe a bit of bread in there as well. But pretty much exactly what you'd expect from the aroma of a double IPA. So without further ado then, let's get stuck into this one. So this is the Molotov Cocktail from Evil Twin Brewing, a gypsy brewery originally from Denmark, but now based over in Brooklyn in New York State in America. Let's get stuck in. Skål, slanje. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. The name actually suits it because it does give you a good bit of alcohol warmth. That's the first thing you're going to notice about this beer, is just how boozy it is. And you know, you could kind of tell when you saw that the head on this one wasn't really retaining all that well. Usually when you have a big strong kind of oily IPA in a can or a bottle like this, they do struggle a little bit to kind of retain the head, whether it's in some of the imperial stouts and things can do that as well. The head usually disappears fairly quickly. But yeah, I have to say that's a pretty damn good beer, and I tell you, at the end of the video I'm definitely going to be feeling this one, but they've balanced it really, really well. What I'm interested with this one I would say is I really do wonder where the kind of border between the likes of the triple IPAs and the double IPAs is, because you know, I've had Hoptimium from Sierra Nevada. There's a few other triple IPAs out there as well. Stigbergets, of course, in Sweden did one that was really nice. I forget the name of it now, but I really do wonder where that border between the double IPA and the triple is when you go over 10% or over 10.5%, or just, you know, exactly where is it. To me, if I was blind tasting this one, I would guess it's a triple IPA rather than a double IPA. But you know, as long as it's a good beer, for me the style doesn't matter. As long as you get some really nice flavours out of it, that's the main thing. We can debate about styles all day. But yeah, with this one then, you can feel a little bit of that sort of bready malt base in there. There's some nice kind of rich caramel on top of that, so there's a nice little bit of that sweetness to it. You can feel there's just a little bit of biscuity character there as well, but mainly it's quite a bready, it's just got that bready backbone to it, and then some of this nice oily, quite boozy caramel on top of it. You can feel in the back corners of the palate there's a teeny little bit of earthiness, but as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, you start to get that kind of slightly spicy floral aromaticity. There's maybe just a little bit of pine resin to it, but it does kind of fade out, and it's more of a kind of spicy floral note on the front corners of the palate. As you go around the front curve of the tongue, you get a little bit more of that kind of lighter grassy note, but you can feel some of that floral aromaticity just kind of underpinning it. But yeah, the fruitiness in this beer is really interesting. Like I say, one of the big standout characteristics of this one is just how kind of boozy it is. But yeah, just behind the front curve of the palate then, that's where you'll find these nice kind of oily, fruity esters that come out from the hops. So you can feel a little bit of that grapefruity character just underpinning it. There's definitely a little bit of orange in there. I do think there's some Amarillo hop in here. And you can feel there's a little bit of that mango as well. And as you progress further on, you can feel there's a wee bit of a sort of gooseberry and kind of lemon limey character. There is a little bit of that almost lychee flavour as well that you get. I do think that some of the kind of aftertaste that you get, that little bit of fruit complexity, I do think that's the Citra hop that's kind of giving it that. And it's just really nice, but you can feel on the edge of your palate, you can feel from the juiciness on the edge of your palate some of the orangey and mango flavours coming in. They blend together as well to give you this really quite unusual mixture, but it's really quite nice. That's always one of the things you can tell with a beer is when fruit's been added, because it does change the mouthfeel. The bitterness in this one for me isn't as high. The IBU character in this one isn't quite as high as some of the ones that I've come across. It is fairly high, I would say, but the fruit additions to this beer just take it down a little bit, but it works really quite well. But yeah, it's just really quite nicely done. And I just like how all the flavours kind of blend together in this one, but it really is, it's a big boozy beast of a beer this, and the fruity character blends in together. And the hoppiness from it as well. It just, all the flavours go together really quite well, but you've just got that nice kind of almost winter warmer character about it actually. That boozy character just kind of sums it up nicely, and again, that means that it suits the name, so I can see exactly why they chose the name for this one that they did, because it's turned out really quite interestingly. So if you like a big triple IPA, if you like the likes of Hoptimium or Hoptimum, I'm not sure exactly how you call it, but that one from Sierra Nevada, I think you're going to enjoy this one. If you enjoy a triple IPA basically, this one is kind of up there with those, so give it a go and see what you think. In terms of the mouthfeel, this one then, definitely full-bodied. Carbonation's very soft. The mouthfeel is more oily than anything else, which is what you'd expect. There's a good little bit of hoppy bitterness. There's some sweetness from the malt base as well. You can feel that boozy character just kind of kicking in there, and there's some nice sort of juicy fruits mixing in with it as well. But overall, everything just goes together really well, and I think that's a good way to kind of sum up this beer. It's just a big boozy beast where everything goes together really quite nicely. So yeah, the Molotov Cocktail from Evil Twin Brewing. Another really solid beer from these guys. So if you get the chance to try it, I highly recommend that you do. I've certainly enjoyed trying this one, and I hope you guys have enjoyed my take on it. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. As I say, it's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Check out all the usual social media and things, but most importantly, support your local craft brews and have a go at some of the Evil Twin beers if you haven't already. Denmark generally is a very good beer country these days. You've got the likes of Abeltoft, Amar, of course, are one of my favourite breweries, Evil Twin, Mikkeller, Toil, all these guys. There's some really damn good beers over there these days. So if you get the chance, go and visit Copenhagen. Genuinely one of the best beer cities in the world. But until the next time, it's Slange just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Molotov Cocktail, a big beast of an Imperial IPA from Evil Twin Brewing, based originally in Denmark, but now over in Brooklyn in New York in America. Slange just now. Ska.